if you want to watch it again, or if you want to show it to one of your colleagues, just let us know. We'll probably be sending an email out soon. But if you want to get a link, just send us an email. We'll send you the link to the recording, and you'll be able to watch it again. I have currently muted all of you guys, so if you are not able to hear me, or if there's some problems, just raise a hand or ask a question. I'll be able to answer that question, but I won't be able to hear any of you guys. Okay, so before we get started, just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Deepak Maini. I'm the product manager of BIM and manufacturing solutions at Cadgroup, Australia. I'm a qualified mechanical engineer. Around 17 years of experience working with various CAD platforms. I've trained people all around the world. I'm also a guest lecturer at University of New South Wales and University of Technology, Sydney, where I teach a bachelor's and a master's class in construction management. I'm also a regular speaker at our annual conference, which is called Autodesk University in Las Vegas. I've written a few books. This is my latest textbook on a software called Navisworks, which I'm pretty sure you guys know. It's a design, coordination, and collaboration program. Before I start with my actual presentation, just a quick poll to see how many of you currently create structural models. So I'm gonna launch a poll here that you'll see on your screen. So I think you'll be able to see your screen with a poll. So if you quickly click yes or no, whether you create structural models or not, I'm gonna close it in about 5 seconds. All right, so I've just closed the poll to show you the results. There are about 93% of the people who currently, who just mentioned that they do create structural models. And the quick second question is, which software do you use to create these structural models? So again, it's going to be open for about 5 more seconds. Okay, so I'm going to close this poll now. But just to give you an idea, about 80% of you guys have mentioned Inventor. So about 80% of you guys have mentioned that you use Inventor to create your structural models. About 7% use ProSteel, about 14% use AutoCAD. So that's interesting. Most of you guys have mentioned that you use Inventor for creating your structural models, and that's because that's the program we used to have. Autodesk did not have a proper structural detailing package, and that's why we wanted to do this webinar. And if any one of you attended our road shows for the launch events, I actually presented this as a live software as well. So that's the whole idea of doing this webinar, to educate you guys about this acquisition from Autodesk. Autodesk, a couple of years back, acquired a company called Droidtech that had a solution called Advanced Steel, which is now rebranded as Autodesk Advanced Steel. So what's the agenda for today? I'm going to introduce you to Autodesk Advanced Steel. Then I'm going to show you some talk about some key features and functionalities of Advanced Steel. And then I'm going to show you a live demo of some of the main features of Advanced Steel. And then at the end, we'll do a question and answer session. Looks like someone has a question. Let me have a look. Okay, so Jim has asked the question about what about AutoCAD structural detailing. So Jim, Autodesk structural detailing has been discontinued. It is no more a product that is live now, so it has been discontinued. If you have an old version of it, you will continue or you can continue using it. But with the newer versions of Autodesk products, it has been discontinued. I might take some of these questions at the end because we have to be mindful of everybody's time. So I'll go through everything that I want to cover. So the agenda, as I mentioned, is I'm going to give a quick introduction about Advanced Steel. I'm going to talk about some key features and functionalities. And then I'm going to show you a live demonstration of some of these features and functionalities of Advanced Steel. And finally, we're going to have question and answer session. All right, so what is Advanced Steel? Advanced Steel is a specially designed software for structural engineers and steel detailers who need easy-to-use steel detailing application that basically automate the process of creating complex structure models. But not only structure models, also the connections. Most of you guys use Inventor because Inventor has got a module called Frame Generator, fantastic program, fantastic module when it comes to doing welded frames. But as soon as it comes to doing frames that have got bolted connections, that's where it doesn't have the automated bolted connections. If you manually go and put in bolts and so on, the assembly size become large, and that's a pain. But also, when it comes to doing the detailed drawings, there is no automated process. You'll have to manually do the detailed drawings. Whereas in Advanced Steel, it also increases your productivity during creation of construction, detailing, and documentation drawings and bill of materials. So you would have heard one button click to do your detailed drawings. I'm actually going to show you that now. It also has a high level of data interoperability with industry recognized tools. More and more people who used to do structural detailing for mining industry, with mining industry slowing down, we are now focusing or trying to focus our attention towards building industry. In building industry, the engineers work with Revit structure. So this program has 100% interoperability with Revit structure. Basically, lets you import Revit structure files. Also, you can export Advanced Steel files into Revit structure, just in case the engineer wants to make sure that you use the right structure members and so on. For this particular webinar, we are going to concentrate mainly on the mining side of it, not too much into the BIM side of it. All right. So some of the key features of Advanced Steel, it has got intelligent structural objects. So comes with a standard library of structural objects. When you're installing the software, it will ask you what standard you want to install it by default based on. So you can go and Australian standard. As a result, by default, everything that you would place would be Australian standard items. Parametric steel connections. So it's got parametric steel connections where you just pick the members that you want to connect and pick the type of connection, and it automatically places the connection. The best part of these is once you get these connections right, you can then add them to your library. And next time when you want to add the same connection in a new project, not in the same project, please note that I'm using the word new project. So in that case, you can just click the two members and get the size from the library. Now, why did I use new project and not the current project? Because if I need same connection in the current project, I can do a copy paste of the connection, which is the best part, and that's the bit I want to show you. It's got extremely smart detailing and documentation tools, and that's again one of the things that I want to show you guys. Really smart bill of material and report generation. So I want to create a saw list with all the saw members. I want pictures of those also with those. So real simple single button click for doing that stuff as well. And the main thing is it also generates your NC/DSTV files. More and more customers of ours using Inventor have been asking us lately that the client wants the NC files as well, so they could straight put it into machine for cutting and so on. Now, Inventor doesn't give you the option of generating NC files directly from your structure model unless you go and add a few add-ins and so on, or there are workarounds, whereas this program does that out of box. And again, something that we're going to look at. Finally, one of my favorite things in Advanced Steel, document management and revision control. You're working on a massive project. You go and modify a few structural members. Obviously, if you're using Inventor, the drawings would update. But then I don't want to just update the drawing. I want to bump up the revision of the drawing and also rev cloud the areas that have been modified. And this is the only program that I've actually seen that goes in, rev clouds the changes that you have made and bumps up the revision for you. So that's why I'm saying it's one of my favorite things in Advanced Steel. I have not seen any CAD program do that. So quickly going through some of these things. Intelligent structural objects, as I said, it comes with the standard library of structural objects. It's got dedicated wizard to create complex structural objects. So I want to create a gable frame or a standard frame. I could just go to the command, just type in what's my post sizes, what's my column and rafter sizes. It goes and puts it in. The best part is it'll treat them as a single unit, so you can modify all of those things together. It's got external library of internal intelligent objects, comes with international catalog. So I'm also working on maybe a US project or something. I can go and start adding the American members rather than the Australian members. It's got robust object graphic control. So once the model becomes really, really large, you just want to display the structural members as really basic display. We don't want to display all the fillets and chamfers and things like that. So we can control all the display of items as well. Parametric steel connections. This is something that a lot of people have claimed that their program does parametric steel connection, but no one actually has delivered 100% on parametric steel connection, including, unfortunately, I have to say, AutoCAD structural detailing, which is ASD program that Jim spoke about in the morning, or not in the morning, earlier. So in this program, you actually create parametric steel connections, which means that if you change the member or if you move the member or anything, the connection moves and changes with it. Again, something that I'm going to show you. User-friendly classification of connection vault. So there's a window called connection vault window. Really smart window, has got all these different connections, but the main thing is at the top you've got favorites. So whatever connections you regularly use, just add them to your favorites. Standard values saved in the library. This is what I was mentioning earlier. If you've got your connection and you get your standard values right, all you need to do is add them to the library. Once you add them to the library, next time you need to place a connection in the new project, just pick that member from the library. Simple, straightforward process. Quick connections to speed up the connection creation. There's also a quick connection module that lets you quickly create the connections, but also custom connections. So your company creates some custom connections that are not part of the standard connection catalog. You can create those custom connections and add them to your library. And next time, whenever you want, you can just use them straight away. Detailing and documentation tools, as I said, really smart, simple program. One button click to generate your general arrangement drawings, your shop drawings, bill of material, NC DSTV files, and my favorite, the revision control. All the documents are managed using one single window, which is called a document manager. It lets you look at all your drawings, lets you look at all your general arrangements, your bill of materials, parts list, your NC files, everything from one single location. General arrangement drawings, as I mentioned, you can do a single model or multiple general arrangement drawings in one single file. So you want to create assembly drawings, but you want to place multiple assemblies in one file, for example. Something that Pro Steel people like doing. This program lets you do it. You can pick your template A1, A3, whatever it is. You can place multiple drawings. Same thing with single part drawings, plate drawings, whatever you want, multiple drawings or single drawings per sheet. Various localized and ready-to-use templates out of box. So pretty much everything that I'm going to show you today is all out of box. The only thing that I've changed is I've gone and added our company logo in the templates. We call them as prototypes in this. Other than that, everything is out of box. Automatic creation of 2D and 3D views and easily customizable title box. So that's pretty much straight out of AutoCAD. Shop drawings, as I mentioned, you can do single part drawings, assembly drawings, automatic dimensioning and labeling, specific presentation template for unwrap and unfold views. So the program also has plate work that you can do, although I prefer Inventor for that kind of work if you've got Inventor, but if you don't have Inventor, you can do plate work within the program. So if you want to do an unwrap or unfold views, there are specific presentation templates for that. All the drawing styles are customizable. You can decide what type of dimension styles and text and all that stuff that you need. Bill of material, creation of all the list for workshop and site purposes. You can do that straight in one button click. Wide variety of BOM templates that come out of box. Material list, board list, saw list with pictures, which is my favorite. And user-friendly BOM editor as well. So if you want to edit the BOM, user-friendly BOM editor for template customization. The whole idea is you can quickly produce an accurate bill of material based on your model data. CNC Tools also provides you support for NC and DSTV files, configurable option available for file and content naming, XML files for vending robots as well. So you can quickly generate your CNC workshop files within no time from your live model. Comes with a standard wizard for creating stairs, railing, cage ladders, which are important in any mining job. As I said, once you get your stairs and cages right, you can add them to the library. Next time you need them in any project, just drag and drop them from your library, or just click the value in your library and it updates your current one that you've placed. User-friendly dialog boxes, real clear, concise illustration, nothing fancy. The best part in the dialog boxes, which is what I'm going to show you, is the values in the dialog boxes are numbered in the preview pictures that you've got in the dialog boxes. So if you do not know what really that particular dimension is, just look at the number. It says number 3. Look at the preview in the picture. So for example, you can see this here. So you want to find out what's item number 3, item number 4. All you need to do is look at these pictures here, and you'll be able to figure out what that value is. So something that I really like about the dialog boxes in advanced steel. As I mentioned, the whole idea is to speed up the process of miscellaneous steel in this case. Work sharing, again, something really important for large mining jobs. We won't have a single person doing the entire hundreds of tons of steel modeling and detailing. We'll be having different people in the team doing different areas or different zones of that job. In that case, we can also do work sharing. In work sharing, I can pick a part of the project and kind of check out for my use. Once I check it out for my use, I can work on that. I can also do a partial work sharing wherein I've got a column that goes from level 1 to level 3. I can do a partial sharing, so I can add connections to it, insert holes, and so can my colleague who's working on a different level. James has asked a question, do stairs meet AS standard out of box? Not out of box, but again, customizing that is really simple, James. And that's what I'm going to show you. Once you get that right, you just click on import values, and next time when you want, you just click on those values and you're ready to go. All right. Before I start with the live demonstration, I've got a couple of customer projects that I wanted to show you to give you an idea of what type of projects can be done. So a few buildings, a factory here, a steel plant, a bridge, the entire stadium, transmission tower, all these done in advanced steel. House and other things. We're kind of running short of time, so I'm going to straight away now jump into advanced steel. Okay, so advanced steel, first of all, it is based on AutoCAD. So you can see here, it's an AutoCAD based environment. Let me quickly hide this so I've got a bit more space. So it's an AutoCAD based environment. We've got ribbon tabs, ribbon panels similar to any AutoCAD program. This thing here is called Advanced Steel Tool Palette. I'm going to hide this. So to show you how quick and simple it is, I want to maybe start with placing some concrete footings. So on the home ribbon tab under objects, I'm going to click on this where it shows me all my concrete items I can place. I'll say an isolated footing. It says where do you want to place it. I can specify the coordinates where I want to place it. Let's say 1200 by 5000. Goes in and places the concrete there. Tells me the length, width, and height of this concrete. Gives me the material. Gives me the grading. Position, you can define how you want to place it. Naming. At this stage, we haven't defined the naming. Model rule, it automatically gets its concrete foundation. Similarly, we can add some user attributes as well. If there are some specific attributes, some material number or something that you want to add, or ERP number, you could add that here. Display type is set to standard. Behavior, we are going to use this for single part numbering as well as bill of material. It will also be used for collision check. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to close the dialog box. You would have noticed there was no apply or OK button in dialog box because in advanced steel, everything is live. There is no apply or OK. Next, I want to place a column here. This is where I can go to my steel flyout where I can decide what type of steel section I want to place. There's also a command called column. This command places a column of a default size, whereas in my case, I want to be able to change its size. So I'm going to quickly click this. Because it's an AutoCAD-based program, I can use my standard AutoCAD commands, like in this case, object snap tracking, to place it at the top of this. Now it says what's the height of this, which is the endpoint of the system axis. I'll say I want this to be 4 meters. As soon as I press enter, it places that section. It's asking me, do you want to place another section? I'll say no, I'll press enter. As soon as I press enter, it displays this dialog box telling me it's a universal column that it's placing size. If I want it to be something else, I can go and select this. Let's say it's a welded column, I could pick a welded column, and then if need be, I could change the size as well. All standard sizes out of box come in the program. Again, positioning, everything can be controlled here. In this case, it doesn't really matter, but in case of beams and so on, whether you want to place it to the top of the steel or center of gravity or whatever it is. And if you want, you can rotate this as well. For the timing, I'll just leave it as is because I'm going to rotate these later on. And same thing, naming, I can define model role. So I can say it's a beam or whatever it is. I can define fabrication data. I can define user attributes, display type. But I'm pretty happy with this at this stage. The only thing is after placing this, I realized instead of 4 meters, it should have been 5 meters. So just like any normal AutoCAD object, I can select this grip, drag it up in the Z direction. I'll say add another 1020. So now that becomes 5 meters. Fantastic. Now I want multiple copies of this. So I'm going to use the standard AutoCAD array command, select objects, these, enter. It says what type of array do you want? I'm going to go and say it's a rectangular array. Places a rectangular array. It says how many columns do you want? I'll say I want 2 columns. It changes it to 2 columns. How many rows do you want? I'll say I need 4 rows. It changes it to 4 rows. Spacing between the column, I want this to be 2500. Goes and updates this. Now I want this to be 3000. So I'm using standard AutoCAD commands in this case, but even for my advanced steel objects. So I've created these. I don't want these to be associative, so I've turned off associativity and then simply press enter and it creates these. Simple, crisp way of quickly creating these structural objects. After creating this, I realized that the last one I need to move further out. I can simply use the normal move command. Select objects are these, enter, base point here. I want to move these, let's say, extra 1000. That's how I want these members. And then finally, I just want another copy of these members going here, let's say 25. And next, I want to place, let's say, continuous footing between these. So I'm going to go into my continuous footing. It says specify the start point. I'll pick this midpoint. End point is this midpoint. I want rectangular section. That's the right size position. I want top. From here on, I'm simply going to use the copy command. So all I'm doing is I'm using the standard AutoCAD copy command and just copying it wherever I want. So the point I'm trying to make is, although these are advanced steel objects, but normal AutoCAD commands would work on this as well. Just go and change this. Place another one between this midpoint to this midpoint. Okay, and finally copy this from here to here. Similarly, I can also go and create another footing from, let's say, this midpoint to this midpoint, and then copy this. So I won't waste time copying it, but you guys got the idea. Next, I want to place some beams at the top, but before I place the beams, I realized that my members or the columns are oriented in the wrong direction. Now, in this case, I can go and select all these manually, or I can use my advanced steel tool palette, which is a really smart tool palette. It's got this filter option. The filter option lets me filter a number of different objects. So I can go and filter beams. It goes and select all these beams. Now, advanced steel would also treat columns as beams. So that's why it's picked those. If I wanted to pick the concrete beams, I could pick this. If I wanted to pick the concrete footings, I could go and pick the concrete footing and so on. So we've got all these different filters. I'm going to pick all these here, right click, advanced properties. Position, I want to rotate all of them. So as I change the angle here, you would notice that it rotates all of them. There is no apply or OK button here. Everything is live displayed. Next, as I said, I want to add some beams. But instead of adding beams manually, I'm going to use this really smart command called continuous beam. Now, what advanced steel does is it actually goes and creates what we call as node points at the endpoints of these members. So I'm going to turn off my midpoint so that I only have the node option turned on. Continuous beam, I'll start from here to here to here to here. Now, the reason I'm actually picking the endpoints or these node points here is because I don't want to be able to later on go and split these members here. So when I add the connection, I want split automatically created. Now, instead of universal column, I want it to be a universal beam. shows me all these different sizes. I'm going to pick 310 UB46.2, and instead of position here, I'll say this is now to the top of the steel. So as soon as I pick top of the steel, it automatically updates this. Next, I want to quickly add the same continuous beam from here to here to here to here as well. Automatically remembers which one was my last one, also remembers my orientation and offset values. So as you could see, within no time, I've placed these concrete members, I've placed these steel members, and so on. Next thing what I want to do is I want to add a few connections here. So between this column and this beam, I want to add a connection, and that's where we have got this thing called connection vault. When I click on connection vault, it shows me my connection vault window. It shows me all these different types of connections that it has got. So for example, if I say plates and beams, it shows me all the different plate and beam connections. But the best part that I find in advanced steel is, so if I want to create a column and beam connection and I need to create this connection here, it actually tells me the order of my selection. It tells me that the first item that you need to select is a column, second item you need to select is a beam. So the whole idea is any connection type that you pick and you say I want to do this connection, it tells you your selection order. If there are certain connections that you add on regular basis, all you need to do is go to that particular connection, click on this favorites button, and that connection then gets added to your favorites list. So in my favorites list, I've got these different connections. So tube connection with sandwich plate, base plate, obviously really important, clip angle connections, single side end plate connection, double side end plate connection, and so on. So let's say I want to do a single side end plate connection. I'm going to pick this. It tells me what my my selection sequence is, beam and beam to connect. So single side end plate, beam is this, enter, beam to connect is this, enter. As soon as I press enter, it goes and puts in the connection with some default values. Obviously these values are not right, but this is where I can now go and start changing the values. So my end plate thickness is 10 mil, bolt holes diameter are 20, I'll say I want to use 24 mil, AS 1111, I'll say I want AS 1252, so I'll pick 1252, 8.8 grades. Horizontal bolt, I can say both on the gauge lines. Now I want to define the center offset. Let's say the center offset is 85. As soon as I do that, you can see that this now connection gets modified. Edge connection from all these, so I can keep going and modifying these values, or alternatively, if I've got a value already saved in my library, I can go to that library. It says what connection do you want? I'll say I want to use the mining one or this one here. As soon as I click on this one, it goes and modifies this connection, matches my requirement, changes the bolt differences, distances, whatever it is, automatically updates it. Also, as it's doing that, it trims that beam to that column, so it knows that that's how it's going to put that connection in there. So I had this saved already. You can see how much time it saved me instead of me going in manually and changing all of these values. But the best part, as I said, was if you go and make any of these changes, all we do is we import the values again, and then it gets saved here. Now, I also want the same connection to be added at a few other places. And this is the best part. This is where we can quickly do a copy of the connection. Going back to my advanced steel tool palette, I've got all these different tools. So in your case, if you do not want to use the shortcut keys for move and copy, your move and copy commands are also available here. Same thing with mirror, rotate, array, all those commands are available here as well. If I go to this tools ribbon or tools tab here, that's where we have got these commands. So you want to create a single joint or you want to create a multiple joint. So I want to create multiple copies of this. All I need to do is go and pick a particular member. What I might do is just quickly change my display style so you can see what kind of connection I added a bit clearly. I don't want to display occluded edges. So you can see the plate, you can see the board, you can see all the connections here. You can also see that it trimmed the beam to that plate as well. Again, if you want the beam, the plate to be created to the top of that member or bottom of that member, all we need to do is go and change certain values. So what I want to do is I want to create multiple copies of this. I'll go to this multiple copy command. I simply need to pick any member of the joint that I want to copy. Once I pick that member, now I'm ready to copy it. All I need to do is remember the sequence. So the sequence was column first, beam second. So I'm going to go and say first column, second column, third column, fourth column. Enter. First beam, second beam, third beam, fourth beam. And click this one as well. Enter. As soon as I press enter now, it goes. Obviously, it's turning into a liar. So let's try it one more time. This, enter. I'm going to pick column, 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 enter. Beam, 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 enter. Now it goes and creates these connections for me. So within no time, it goes and copies these connections. Now the best part is that these connections are created as a group, which means that all these are associative. So we sent this model, we have done all the detailing and so on. The engineer has a look at it and then realizes that maybe the board sizes are not right. The problem is it's been 6 months when I did these connections. I don't know which one's my master connection. So how do I modify it? In this case, all I need to do is click on any of these members. I'm going to go and say advanced joint properties. It's telling me that none of these values will be available. Everything is grayed out because this wasn't the master. As I said, it's been 6 months. I don't remember which one was my parent connection, but it gives me the option to upgrade this to master. So irrespective of what my original master was, I can upgrade this to master now, which means that this connection is going to drive all the rest of the connections. So I might just move this out of the way, just zoom out a bit so you can see a few more connections. Go in here. I want to go into the bolt holes. Instead of 12 mil, I want it to be 16 mil. As soon as I do 16 mil, it goes and updates this. Also goes and updates all the rest of the connections as well. So I didn't have to remember which one was my master connection. I just go and modify one of these. It goes and updates all of them for me. So this is the best part. At any point of time, if need be, I can break the associativity with the master. If I don't need that, I can do that as well. But this is one of my favorite bits. It is really handy, simple, straightforward process to copy the connections. Not only just once, but multiple times. To show you a few more things, I have a file already done. So let me quickly open this file here. In this file, I also want to show you a few other things. So the first one I want to show you is if you've got some line work already done and you want to create beams on the line. Even for that, we've got commands. We can insert beam from the line or beam from polyline. Polyline is where it's going to create a bent beam. So as if it was bent rather than creating two separate beams. In my case, I'm going to use the beam from line command or insert the member here, 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 here. Enter. It says, do you want to delete the lines? I'll say no. It goes and inserts the members. Now it uses some default members. If they are not the right size, all I need to do is use my standard match properties command. So my normal match property command, I can go in. I can go and say that it's supposed to be this member size. That's the source. And then destination, 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 destination. How good is that? So all I'm doing is just defining my destinations, and it goes and inserts those or modifies those members. Now quickly, connection volt. I'm going to add another connection, which is my clip angle, and the one I want is between so clip angle between this enter, this enter. Tells me which one do you want to insert. I'll say yep, that's fine. That's the one I want to insert. But what I basically want to show you is this is the connection I've added, and then I realize that I need to modify this member. I'm going to pick this member and I want to move it in this direction. So as soon as I move this here, it not only moves that beam, but as you could see, it also updates the connection. And this is what I meant by parametric connection. A lot of programs would say that their program are parametric and connections are parametric, but nothing like this, where it's not only gone and moved the beam, also the connection as well. And if I look at this beam, I can see the holes have moved with that particular member as well. Similarly, I want to quickly insert maybe a stair here. So again, out of box tools to do that, I'm going to go to my straight stair command. It says, all right, specify the start point of the stair. I've already drawn a line for the start point. I'm going to use that particular line. So make sure my endpoint option is turned on. So from this endpoint to this endpoint, enter. As soon as I press enter, it goes in and creates this stair for me. Again, if this is not the right size, all I need to do is go and start changing the values. So I want to specify this based on the length and height. Again, you can change to length and angle, height and angle. You can define the stringer types, how you're defining the slope. We don't want the UK parallel fringes. We want the Australian standard PFCs. So I can go in here, Australian standard parallel flange. I want to use 200 PFC. So just change it to 200. So everything is live change in front of you. Now for step sizes, you can, the thread size, you can define size from formula 2R plus G. This is, I think, what James was asking in the morning. No, I keep saying in the morning, but earlier in the day. So it's based on 2R plus G. If you don't want to do that, you can clear this tick box. You can go and modify these values manually. Thread type, what type of thread you want to use, what are the thread sizes, connection, connected thread, stringer, thread dimension, standard grating, whatever you want. So all these things you just need to set up once. Once you have set these up, we just go and set those in our library, which is available at the top. But we just need to get this right once. Landing, do you want to create a landing at the front? Which type of PFC do you want? All these things can be customized. If I go to my properties, if I go library, if I want to change it to a different one, there's one available here. I click on it. It now modifies this based on this particular one that I had. Again, I can go and back and make some changes so that there's a step placed here that extends all the way to that particular steel member, or I can decide to extend these. Everything is customizable. All we need to do is go into the properties to change the properties in the dialog box. Next, I want to quickly insert some hand railings. So at this platform at the top, I want to insert the hand railing. I'll go to the hand railing option. It says select the objects you want to insert the hand railing on. 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. Start point, I'm going to use this. End point, I'm going to use this. No, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to just press enter. Goes in and inserts the hand railing. Again, some default values out of box. All we need to do is go in and change these values. Once we have changed these values, we simply go and add them to the library. If I go into the library, there are some samples available. I can use one of these samples. If that's not the one I want, as I said, I can simply go and modify the railing type and then add that to the library. But quickly, after adding this hand railing, I realized that this particular platform actually shouldn't be like this. This member here needs to be somewhere here. So all I'm doing is I'm using the grip point to modify this member. As soon as I click here, it not only modifies the other member to which it was connected, also goes and modifies my hand railing. So this is what we really mean by parametric. Everything is parametrically connected. One last thing in this file, a lot of times we do our vessels in Inventor. So in my case, I did a vessel in Inventor, or actually a tank, that I've exported as a DWG file. Once I've exported as a DWG file, I want that file to be also placed here. So I can use my normal xref command. A lot of people prefer using the copy paste command. I prefer xref, so that if the vessel changes, I just create a new DWG file or export a new DWG file from Inventor with the same name, and I'll simply update my xref here rather than replacing. So I'll go to the xref command. It says, what do you want to xref? I'm going to go and say tank. I'll specify this on the screen. Okay, there's a point. I place the origin at the center of the tank. I want to place it at this midpoint. So because it's an AutoCAD based program, I can quickly go and modify my object snap tracking. I want to place this here. As soon as I place, it places that tank there. Now I can go and insert the bolts and so on if I want to bolt it there. But quick, simple process of doing any of that stuff. As I said, a lot of people use the normal copy paste command. In my case, I prefer xref. The whole idea is that if the model changes, I just need to re-export the file. Now, quickly going back to the third file that I've got open, in which I've created quite a few things. So in this case, stairs, modified, and so on. I want to quickly start doing some drawing documentation. But the first thing that we do before we start doing our drawing documentation is numbering. When I click numbering, there are some out-of-box numbering options available that I'm going to use. I'll just go and say OK. It goes and numbers everything in my model. I'm happy with that. Now the output that I want to generate, the first thing I want to do is I want to create my saw list. So for that, under the document ribbon panel here, we've got all these different types of lists that we can generate. If I go to my BOM template, it shows me all these different BOM types that I can create. As I said, the one I'm after is saw list, but with pictures. As soon as I click on it, because I did not select anything in the model, it goes and selects everything in the model and now generates this saw list for me. All this is customizable. If you don't like your advanced steel logo here, you can put your logo in. But basically, it's telling me that I've got 3 pages of saw list. Shows me the description, shows me the saw length, shows me the quantity that I need, and also shows me how it will look on the web and how it will look on the flange side. So basically, all your angles here, what are the angles? All those things are displayed right here in this saw list with picture. And same thing here. I need to send it to my procurement department. I can go and say export. I can export it as a PDF. I can export it as an Excel. That's the best part. So I can export it for people who do not have advanced steel, so they can still go and start ordering stuff, or at least start lining up the machines and things like that. So that was the saw list. Next thing, I want to quickly generate my general arrangement, but this time the first general arrangement I want to do is my holding down bolts. So for this particular model, as you could see, there are these end plate connections created with some holding down bolts. All I've done is I've gone in and created a camera here because I want to use that camera. I'll go to my document processes here. It says, what do you want to do? Shows me all these different types of drawings I can generate. I'm after my camera, so I can go and say camera, anchor plan. I'll click anchor plane. It says all cameras, okay. Gone in and has done my general arrangement drawing. How do I find out where the drawing is? That's all controlled using my document manager. This is what I was telling. Document manager is one single place where all our documents are displayed. So it's telling me I've got an up-to-date drawing of general arrangement. I can look at the preview here. Alternatively, I can double click on it to open this drawing. So everything that I've shown you is out of box. The only thing that I changed in was put in the Cadgroup logo in here. But you can see the holding down bolt plan shows me all these dimensions. As I said, this is all out of box. I haven't changed anything. If you don't like any of these things, it's all customizable. You don't like this dimension style, you want something else, a different dimension style, all this is customizable. And that's what we do. When you purchase advanced steel from us, we just don't sell you the software and train you. We also come in, spend a day with you, set up all these things for you. So from day one, you are ready to start pushing the drawings out. So this is good. Let's say we were working on this project, we finished a few drawings, but then the engineer goes in and says, oh, you know, the bolts on these anchors, they're not the right size, we need to change them. So what I'm going to do is, I can't remember which one was my parent connection. I can just pick any random connection here, advanced joint properties. I'll upgrade this to master, so it goes and updates all of them. And what I want to do is I want to be able to say, where are my base plate anchor bolts? So currently the anchor diameters are set to 24. I'll say now this is supposed to be 30 mil. So I'm going to change this to 30 mil. As you could see, it goes and updates all these anchor bolts. Okay. Now if I go to my document manager, let me quickly save this and I'll renumber everything so that the new anchors are numbered as well. And now if I go to my drawing manager, it tells me that there is one drawing that is not up to date, that actually requires an update. So when I'm updating this, I can right click and say update this or update this with a revision. I want to update this with a revision. I'll say add revision A, check by, I'll say that's done by Adam Scully. Adam wanted to change the bolt diameter to 30 mil. Okay, and now I'll go and say OK. As soon as I hit OK, it goes and updates the drawing. But it doesn't only update the drawing. If I open this now, you can see that it has gone in and created rev clouds. So if I just refresh this, it has gone in and created rev clouds around wherever the changes were. Also goes in and creates a revision table, tells me that it's been revised to this, who's the author, what was the description. So personally, I have not seen any CAD program that does this automatically. Most of the programs we have to do it manually. Imagine a massive job, hundreds of tons of steel. You're updating certain things. How easy it is to just figure out which drawing was updated and to just bump the revision of this and also rev cloud the area. If you don't rev cloud the area, that's fine as well. You don't have to do that. You can force update revision without that. Quickly going back to this drawing, I want to also do some assembly drawings and so on. So going back to my drawing processes, I can decide that I want to do assembly drawings, multiple on an A1 size sheet, single on A1 size sheet, multiple A3, single A3, and so on. So if I go and say multiple or single A1, okay, I haven't selected anything. Let me select this. So single A1, okay. Goes and does my assembly drawing. Going back to my document manager, I can look at my assembly drawing. And if I open this separately, so that's my assembly drawing, shows me all my welding symbols as well, my general notes that I wanted to add. And at the top, it's also showing me the quantity of each of these members. So that's a beam, quantity 6, the finish, what kind of finish we wanted. But the best part is it's also giving me the combined weight of those structural members of that particular assembly. So as I said, one single button click for the drawings. I haven't seen any program that really does that and also updates these. One last thing here, I need to be mindful of everybody's time. I want to do a few plate drawings as well. So I'm going to pick a few plates. So pick this one, and maybe this one as well. Document manager. Yep. So drawing processes, single part. Actually, it's going in here. Drawing processes, single part, single on A3. Okay, so selected parts. It's done all the single part drawings now. Going back to my document manager, I can see my single part drawings as well. So these were the plates that I picked. So if I want to open this one, shows me the drawing of that, shows me where the holes are, all the overall dimensions, angles, pretty much everything. Shows me the quantity, the mark number, everything. So as I said, one single button click for all these drawings. Now I can keep going about various things that Advanced Steel does, but as I said, I need to be mindful of everybody's time. But these are the main things that I wanted to show you guys. All these portal frames, gable frames, everything comes out of box. You can decide what type of frame you want. There's so much in this program, but as I said, I need to be really mindful of everybody's time. So what I'll do is I'll open this up for question and answer now. So if you guys have any questions, let's look at those questions now. So to ask questions, because I've muted all of you guys, all you need to do is raise your hand or just type it in the chat window. Typing in the chat window is the best thing, so I can see everybody's questions. Okay, Derek's got a question: how compatible with Inventor is it? Derek, If you look at the Autodesk website, or if you Google it, they say that it is not compatible with AutoCAD with Inventor, which means that if you got an Inventor frame created, you can't bring it in Advanced Steel. However, I've got a workaround. So if you want to find out how to export your Inventor frame generator model to get into Advanced Steel for detailing, give me a call separately. I'm actually in Melbourne right now. I need to go and see a customer after I finish this. But shoot me an email. I'll actually show you a workaround to get your Inventor frame generator models into Advanced Steel, where Advanced Steel will recognize all your structural members as well. Okay, James' question, how much is the software? James, the best part of my job is I don't have to worry about the cost part of it. That's an Adam Scully or a Kelly question. I'll get Adam or Kelly to call you and give you some information. But James, I can tell you the kind of work that you do. I know you use frame generator for all that. You really, really need to look at it in a bit more detail. I mean, as I said, I didn't have much time. I just had about 50 minutes today, but I wanted to call you guys up and schedule some time, but I think you guys need to really look at it. So yeah, I'll get Adam to give you a call. Okay, will this be bundled with Plant 3D? Oh, Jim, that's a good question. As of now, there is no information whether this will be bundled with Advanced Steel or not, but that is as of now. I don't know what happens in future. I've been working with Autodesk products for about 17 years. One thing that I've learned is never say no. So at this stage, there is no information about this getting bundled with Plant 3D. I know where you're coming from, because they have taken out structural detailing. They need to put some other program in it. I don't know. So at this stage, the answer is no, but what happens in future, I don't know about that. I mean, can we improve model from Advanced Steel into an Inventor assembly? Okay, look, to import the model from Advanced Steel into Inventor, I would actually go the other way around. I would bring the Inventor stuff into Advanced Steel. So Inventor objects can be exported as DWG solids and brought into Advanced Steel, and they are treated as external components. They can be included in your drawings as well. So this is the discussion that I had with someone else as well. I would rather get Inventor vessels and things like that, could be conveyors or whatever it is, into Advanced Steel, not the other way around. One, because I've got one button click to do all the drawings. But for some reason, if you want to take the Advanced Steel model into Inventor, yes, all we need to do is dump these down into normal AutoCAD solids, and then you can take them into Inventor. But in that case, they would be treated as normal dump solids. They will not be treated as structural members. All right. Yeah, another question. Can the frame be driven from sketches? Okay. So James, the workflow here is a bit different. Because it's an AutoCAD workflow, yes, you can have sketches drawn. Yes, you can insert members on sketches, just like I showed you. But unlike frame generator and Inventor, where the sketch is driven using an Excel file or something, you change the values in the Excel, the sketch changes, which changes the Inventor frame. That doesn't happen in Advanced Steel. But if you've got a sketch that you have done, absolutely you can insert structural steel members on the sketches. In fact, that's what I showed you earlier when I placed those beams on those lines. Now, as I said, in your case, you have customized your workflow quite a bit, because Inventor had limited functionality for Advanced Steel, and that's why you've done it in a certain way. But yeah, here you can insert steel members on lines or polylines, but they cannot be driven using Excel or something. All right, so it looks like there are no more questions coming, so I might just end it here. So thanks for your time, really appreciate that. As I said, this was the webinar was recorded, and if you or your colleagues or someone up the chain wants to watch this again, shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to share it, share the recording with you. That's my email address at the top. You can simply Google me, find me on LinkedIn or whatever it is. shoot me an email. So Phil has a question, can we do pipe runs in this? So there are round hollow sections or round bars and so on in the program, but not pipe runs as an inventor given piping. And that kind of stuff is not done here. If you got planned 3D, you would use planned piping for that. This is more for structural steel part of it. All right, guys, so thanks for your time. Really appreciate that. If you have any questions, or sorry, one more question. Does it do handrails using WebForce? Absolutely. So in the handrails and so on, there was WebForce stanchions and so on. I just didn't get time to show you that. But yes, WebForce stuff is included in within the program in the Australian standards. All right, so I might just end here now. As I said, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. That's my email address up there. Or you can Google me, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate that. Hopefully you found this webinar useful. Thank you.